at the printing house. Do those figures align with the figures in the Volta region for those constituencies? The press conference has not addressed that. You only assemble words without addressing the cause. So inform the general public. Ghanaians whose monies are being wasted. The ballots go, they come, we waste our time to share them, we call people to come to the printing houses again. Mr. Bosman, the people we call, they have other things to do. So let's be efficient, and we can be. So what is the cause? How come we have ballot statistics in the printing houses, but they experience this kind of shortfall? That is a bigger issue. My next one has to do with the coalition. Clarification. Do you mean that for the constituency coalition center, we are going to have one person representing the presidential and another person representing the parliamentary? So that is just two. Not two for presidential candidates, two for parliamentary. Is that what you mean?
I thought you were asking a question.
Yes. Okay. Because that will be inadequate. If it is just one person for parliamentary and just one person for the presidential, we submit that issue, two for presidential, two for parliamentary. That is something that we need to discuss. Again, I come back to this issue of constituency coalition officers. And once again, I get to the causes of things. Did your returning officers tell you they were tired? They were incompetent, so they could not collate. That is why the commission decided that they were going to appoint constituency coalition officers for them. And I wish that we all have copies of the document to read. Lot of contradictory statements in there. If I tie it in one breath, in another breath, we are supposed to be independently collating electronically. Whilst the people that they are supposed to be assisting will be collating manually. At the end of the day, whose own reigns supreme? Is it the returning officer that CI 127 knows explicitly, or it is the constituency coalition officer, which is what you are deciding? Because remember that the law that you quoted, Regulation 2, Regulation 3, no, 2B, 3B, any other person to assist a returning officer as determined by the commission. Coming by saying, you are going under the residual and rubric of any other person to insert constituency coalition officer there. When actually, where I think you are importing that from is Regulation 38, which will be looking at the regional coalition officer. But even in appointing the regional coalition officer, don't you think you should have consulted political parties? No.
I think you are answering, you finish your question.
Okay, because that is saying that any other person that the commission may, in consultation with the political parties, determine as a regional coalition officer in each of the regions in Ghana. That is Regulation 38C. You have not consulted the NDC. I don't know if you consulted the MPK or any other political party here. I think this is what the law is saying in black and white. That Regulation 38C, the commission may appoint any other person that the commission may, in consultation with the political parties, determine as a regional coalition officer in each of the regions in Ghana. Here again, we ask, are your regional directors telling you they are tired, they are incompetent, they cannot isolate, so they need help? Or what is driving that? If something is driving it, for the regional coalition officers, which is explicitly stated here, you are supposed to be consulting us. You've not done that consultation, but you are informing us right here that you've appointed. Why do you do this? Why do you breach the law? The very law that is supposed to govern this election. From there, I move to some other issues which I wish to raise, which are also related to this. The border on coalition. Who is sending the pink sheets to the coalition center? I presume the presiding officer. Will the presiding officer, in transmitting the pink sheets to the coalition center, be accompanied by the polling agents of the party? We are not saying the polling agents of the party should go and occupy the coalition center, no. But we are saying that in the interest of transparency, the byproduct of whatever happened at the polling station from 7 a.m. up to 5 p.m. and subsequently counting and everything, will the presiding officer be accompanied by agents who would wish that they follow, so that there are no swaps on the way, there are no stacking of either ballot boxes or pink sheets? What arrangements have you put in place to ensure that the police doesn't obstruct such agents who will get working in the name of transparency? That is one. 2, the presiding officers. And it's interesting that we jump to collation, because before collation, things that will happen at the police station. I don't know whether you will discuss things that will happen at the police station after we are done with the collation, or I can just go ahead and go into the police station. Sure. Okay. So we should stick to the collation. Now, who receives the pink sheets from the presiding officer? Is it your appointed constituency collation officer, who is not explicitly known by this law, or it is the returning officer of the constituency who is explicitly known by this law?
You ask a question. Go ahead and ask your question.
Good. So when the presiding officer gets to the constituency coalition center, who is the presiding officer handing over the pink sheets to the presidential and the parliamentary two? Is it a returning officer or is it the constituency coalition officer? Now, what is the exact roles and responsibility of this constituency coalition center? Officer. When he or she is done with the electronic collation, is he supposed to hand it over to the returning officer, for the returning officer to determine the accuracy, the validity of it, before the returning officer will announce, or it is going to be the constituency collation officer who is going to just project this thing and announce it? We want to know.
How many questions are there?
No, I think why don't you allow others so that we can come back?
Oh no, if because since they are about
We want to know whether the 70 questions you have asked 10 of
they are not the
them.
one for 80.
We are part of it.
So now,
Part of it.
let's move on. So that's others also.
How many questions do we have? We know how far we've gone.
Let's
overlapping.
Don't be led by.
Oh no.
By
No,
counsel.
I think you want so far you want about 7 or 8 questions.
But there are other.
Let's allow others to come.
How many
You mentioned Excel.
Take the last one, then we can.
Not the last one. You mentioned Excel. You mentioned Excel. As we speak, we do not know the Excel formula that is going to be used. Are you ready here to provide the Excel formula that is going to be used? Because we need to educate our coalition agents on the Excel formula that is going to be used. You understand? We want it to be clear, everybody knows. So, are you ready to provide the Excel formula that is going to be used? Then, we all know the challenges with our electricity. Have you made adequate provision for generators so that standby generators, so that in case power goes off, you can quickly rely on the generators? And last but not least, at the police station, PDs, you have enough power balance for the PDs.
So, we want to take this one then. Or let's allow another.
Answer the question. Listen to your book.
Let me just first of all say that the issue that Dr. Omane raised as causing financial loss to the state cannot be accepted by the Commission. Let me take you through what happens at the printing houses. Political parties were given the ballot statistics. EC staff were given ballot statistics reflecting the number of voters in hundreds, 25, 50, and so for the printing of the ballots. However, if you look at what happens at the printing house and what your agents will also tell you, in the course of the printing of the ballots, there are issues like problems with serialization. At times, some of the numbers do not appear and all that. These are things associated with printing. And that is the reason why we have EC staff checking, and we also have agents of the political parties there. And it is not unusual. We have written to the political parties indicating shortfalls in other ways. So it is something which is associated with printing. And that's the reason why we ask checkers as well as the party agents to get to the printing house and make sure that we have the correct number of voters for each police station within the constituency. So the shortfalls, the commission cannot be claimed, in the sense that you also have the agents there. We are all there checking, and it is normal to have shortage. To check as human beings when we work. Definitely there may be some shortages, and that's the reason why we also have agents there to check. So what I'm saying is that the statistics are there. The statistics are not wrong. If you look, the statistics are not wrong. The statistics are not wrong. It is a shortfall. So if you look at the shortfalls, you will find out that instead of maybe 10 booklets being printed, you will get 9 booklets printed. And it is up to all of us to check and then make sure that we have the correct number of booklets printed for all the polling stations. Then, with respect to the constituency collation office, let me take you through the process so that you get a clear understanding of what is going to happen. At the polling station level, you either get the Form 8A or 8B. That's the parliamentary interpretation. So, at the close of when the declaration of results for the statement of full and proof of results, that the 8A and 8B are filled, and the agents sign, the presiding officer is expected under police escort to send these two forms to the constituency collation center. What he does is that he is expected to submit those forms to the returning officer, not the constituency collation officer. The two individuals, the returning officer and the constituency collation officer, will be working independently. But the presiding officer gives the form to the returning officer. So the returning officer does his manual calculation on the collation sheet. So he enters his figures and he gives either the form 8A or B to the constituency collation officer. And he is also expected to enter it on the Excel sheet. When the two are done, then they will compare to find out if there are some discrepancies. Because the bottom line is the two working should have the same figure. The returning officer as well as the constituency collation officer. If there are discrepancies, we will resort to the primary document, which is either the form 8A or the 8B. And they will have to look at where the challenge is coming from, where the discrepancy is coming from, rectify it, and then the two arrive at the same figure. If you quite remember, in 2012, there were a lot of recommendations after the elections. And one of the issues which cropped up was this transposition errors and all that. And it was discussed and recommended that the returning officer takes the ballot papers. The use of the ballot papers about 2 days to the election. He does the distribution. On the day of the election, he sees to the fact that it goes well, and he does the collation, and then either announce or declare the results. So it makes it very difficult for them to be very accurate. And in some cases, you've actually seen issues where it's taking the courts about 4 years to sit on some of these parliamentary cases. So the constituency collation officers as well as the regional collation officers, is another layer of making sure that the figures that we are going to declare the results are very accurate. So that is the process. It gets to the returning officer list. It enters here before we get to the constituency collation officer. In 2016, we didn't use the collation officers. Yes. So power banks. We are providing power banks to all the BDs, and we also sent a memo to the regional directors for them to hire generators at all the regional offices and constituency collation centers. And unfortunately, that memo was not on social media, but others are on social media. So the commission has been adequate preparation. You saw that. Okay, that's good.
And you have not given adequate funds. You have not given adequate funds.
Yes, so we actually earmarked some amount of money for them to hire generators at both the regional and the constituency collation centers.
Another financial secretary.
Yes.
Take care of easy financial. It is a high level task.
The next step is